Hello YouTube, welcome. In this video, we start the first episode of the Black Spirit Radio. This will be a podcast and we will try to prepare this podcast every week for you on Tuesday. I don't know what you think, let me know in the comment section. We'll try our best. We will talk about the today's, special devs commentary thing, and also we'll talk about some broken classes in PvE and PvP. We have special guests. Without further ado, let's get into it and check what we can serve, give to you. All right, today's we have guests as Rokon, Awakening Sage Main, Arkyve, Sage Main, Loony, which you all know Loony. Maybe you guys don't know Rokon and Arkyve. They're casual players, and we have Aragon, Hygaa. Maybe you not know him, but Aragon is just designed all the podcasts. He just prepared. He managed all the things. He communicated with people. I want to thank to him. From here, I want to start from the Hygaa. Hygaa, may you please introduce yourself?
Okay, so hi, my name is Hygaa or Hygaa. I prefer Hygaa, but some other people call me Hygaa. So I'm an Awakening Sage main pretty much since it got released. I do some occasional live streams on Twitch. I do attempts of decent montages for my PvP plays, and I enjoy both PvE and PvP on this game. So yeah, I cannot wait to give this sort of content, which I believe it's very much needed for our community.
Thank you. What about Loony?
I'm a witch player for PvE. I do pew pew and some guys as well. I think that's about it.
Okay, casual witch player. Rokon, please.
Sage main 3 years, mostly focused on PvP, but you can't do anything without PvE in this game, so I also enjoy this content. But yeah, mostly PvP focused.
Nice. Arkyve?
And one of the best ones, actually.
Awakening Sage player. Been playing Sage ever since release. Wrote a few guides for the class. Sometimes I post grinding videos on YouTube just for documentation and showcase purposes. I can't quite cover PvP in the same capacity for hardware limitations, but I would consider myself well versed in both fields.
If I may say, Gwendia, this guy is actually the Sage Bible writer himself. Just saying.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
well,
we would like to see those Bible. Maybe I can add it in the description section, so people can, track all the things that you just update in there.
Sure, I can send it. Do I send it in Discord or on?
You just send it Discord. I will add it on description on YouTube.
Okay.
So we have 3 Sage mains. We have Witch main, and you have me, Drak main, or I played lots of classes. Today, before we start to talk about the classes or other things, we just wanted to change the topic. The main topic of this week is because today we got the developer's commentary. Developer's commentary was a little bit, unexpected. We didn't expect that thing. Nobody was, expect that thing. Developers just gave us a good content, and they prepared that thing. I want to start with the Rokon. What you think about the quality of life changes?
I enjoy the stuff that they're doing. I'm mostly not going for life skilling in this game, but the house buffs in the scrolls looking very interesting for me. I started to AFK fishing like a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. So overall, they're looking very good. This kind of content, which they I think prefer more than PvP and even PvE game, but they're doing very good in life skilling.
Okay, yes. Loony?
I do feel like the change for the AP cow stuff becoming scrolls would be very nice, but I'm not sure about the implementation, to be honest. I don't really feel like Rage Stone would be nice, or Redstone, whatever. I think it would be better if we just use the actual item with like a hide or something and a scroll to make it a scroll. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a developer, so there's only so much I can say.
Okay, Arkyve?
I think as far as the life skill quality of life changes go, I think it's good. Of course, there were probably other ways, better ways to implement it, but in the short term, I think this is a great solution that will benefit both people who do hunting and people who need the furniture buffs.
Okay, Hygaa?
So I think quality of life changes so far for the the life skills, the ocean one, the training one, trying to give some other, kind of opportunities for life skill enjoyers to not only do fishing and actually getting money. Let's see how big they are. Maybe you can actually earn some money now with alchemy. But other than that, I think that they were very specific on the furniture one. I think it's gonna be very good, and I think they mentioned they were gonna work on a better solution, or at least a better solution in their minds. And I don't know, maybe we can see. I mean, the one that they're gonna implement, I think it solves one of the chronic issues, which was okay, I need AP buff, so I have to go to my house and then go back to the grind spot, or I have to go to my house and then do PvP, which was kind of annoying. So now you have it on your backpack, and I think it's good that they are investigating some issues, not issues, possible futures. Maybe, I don't know, instead of actually removing the full aspect of the furniture, which I think it's what they are the most hesitant about, why don't they just include some way of fuel or crafting of fuel for actual existing furniture for the guild? Like, I don't know, the huge statues that we see on the guild one actually give them a purpose, like the Xarka, the dungeon ones. Give them, I don't know, the possibility of adding a fuel one, recharge them, you go in, your entire guild goes in, and everyone can fill them up. I don't know, maybe some sort of ideas like that. So yeah, it's kinda nice and a very positive side for the future, I believe.
Yeah. So I want to just cover what they actually bring. You guys can also talk about them while I'm just trying to explain. So they talked about the furniture buff, isn't it? They want to just make the
Yes.
furnitures like mobile version of the self buff things. They want to change them into some kind of what type of like scrolls, and we will
Yes.
make
Yes.
them thing with these items on the screen. I'm trying to show them right now. Wait, hold up. Yeah. So these are the items that will, like, I don't know, remnants of the Mystic Beast. I think we will get these items, this beast, the remnant thing, from the furnitures. We will heat them, or maybe simple alchemy or something. We will get this, and then we will process this in with this parchment. And depends the lightstone. For example, rage, the fire rage will give us maybe lightstone of the deep. DR will give DR. Evasion will give evasion. They will just announce it later. This is not bad at all. Like, this scroll method is not bad, but I would see this one. It like how it can be hard. They can create some kind of I don't know how to explain. They can create some kind of slots in the tent, isn't it? In tent they can create a
yeah.
slot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
that
they
tent-
said that they thought about it, but they don't likely decided to do it another way.
Yeah, and I feel like they were hesitant to actually bring it to the campsite because, again, with all this, it would kind of kill sort of the essence of what furniture is, which is an object that you go to it and then you interact with it. So I think they're hesitant to actually like kill that part, right? I think that's what they're thinking. That's what's in their heads.
To be fair,
Might be.
to address that issue, they could have just, how the campsite has essentially slots that you
Yeah.
can put stuff into for repairing, for
Yes.
sleeping and stuff. They could have just added a new slot for the furniture.
Yeah,
I
it
think
would
so.
be that much simple, isn't it? You would just replace your furniture in it. Every time you use it, you will just lose the durability. You will just replace it with the new one when it just consumes the old durability. It would be that much simple. I don't know.
It's
like,
a pretty straightforward way to do it. I don't know if it's because of development, like coding
Yeah,
issues in
it
that
has to be.
matter, but
It has to.
it sounds pretty straightforward and simple,
Yeah.
for sure.
Only one question I have about all this stuff. It's so you have, for example, strike, which give you crit damage. Is it means that we will have a new buffs, like you can buff down attack, back attack as house buffs?
So you mean if they are including new buffs to house
Yes,
furniture?
yes.
I don't think
I
it
was
was
thinking as well.
mentioned actually, but it could
no,
be.
they didn't mention
I
that
don't
I
think
don't
yet.
it was
think
mentioned.
they will.
I mean, it would be a nice thing to see, like actually making a purpose to visit the world bosses. Like, for example, Sarka already has its own statue, but rather than having, I don't know, I think it was 15 AP and 100 HP and whatever else, I don't know, give 10% critical hit damage or whatever. I don't know. Mix it up a little bit so that actually going to Sarka is meaningful. So you have the, I don't know, whatever materials you need to be prepared for node war or for PvE.
Yeah, they didn't mention
There's
detail.
also a lot of sorry.
Please go ahead. They didn't mention detail. They just I want to say that.
There's also a fair amount of lightstones. Well, a lot of lightstones actually, most of them,
Exactly.
that give stats that we don't have through furnitures, like for example PVE AP, which usually on the license is higher than normal AP. I'm wondering if maybe we're gonna get PVE AP furniture for 20 AP or something. But I think we're not gonna immediately get any of the sort, maybe in the future.
Yeah, for now I think we're gonna stay with what we have, and it's maybe something that they will explore. I feel like that's the message that they sent with today's commentary.
Yeah, and they talked about some quality of life and overall mechanic changes in the hunting, because this furniture thing will directly affect hunting. They are making hunting way easier. That's what I understand.
Yes. I feel like they mentioned that rather than just going to one spot and getting the wolf head, for example, you would drop kind of like this, I don't know what the name was, this kind of green thingy that you can actually like transform it into several thousand. Like it doesn't, like the furniture that you want to get is not going to be attached to the spot that you want to hunt, right? So I think that's kind of good, and it opens up the spots that you can actually go hunting. Even though I'm not a hunter enjoyer myself, but it sounds good.
On the screen, it says, the green one, all hunting crafted furnitures, regardless of their effects, we will process it. We will get that remnant. That's what it says.
Yeah.
And
So I
remnant
think that's
and the parchment, it says that we will be able to get that parchment from the maybe an NPC, because it says directly will be silver. At the end of the day, this scroll version of the buff, what they said, it will be expensive compared to using the furniture buff.
They also made it so you can use the hide you get from hunting as well.
Oh, sure.
So
what?
you can replace the scroll with the hide you get from hunting, the supreme hide.
Yes.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
So actually rewarding more for the people that actually hunt and has those materials already. Like pretty sure they have it stocked up in their storages. I think this just goes in line to like making stuff easier, like reducing the amount of specific things in the game, and to make it easier and more visual for the player base, which is always very welcome.
Yeah. So this is the summary. Let me just check the summary. Wait, hold up. Craft scrolls from the stuffed hunting furniture. This will be crafted. Reduce the cost for adventurers with the hunting materials. Crafted scrolls can be registered on the central market. This is also another big W. So you will be able to just buy those scrolls from the central market, but we don't know what will be the price. But it will be more expensive than using directly the stuffed in furniture in the house. We will see. We have no detailed explanation about the buffs, and what they said, they will add this at the end of May, I believe. Yeah.
I think it was end of May, 28th, if I'm not
28th,
mistaken.
according to
Yeah.
But like
So 29th on
29 for us.
on
Yeah.
EU and MENA. Yeah.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe 1 week after, like usual.
Maybe
See.
in Korea as a test server they will use their own server.
Okay.
Classic. So they also
Yes.
mentioned the new UI thing, and I'm very happy. Before we talk about this
Yes.
thing, I want to remind something to people. Like 8-9 months ago, maybe a year ago, I can remember the exact date. My viewers will remember that. We just got feedback from the community. I asked them kindly, and there were 400-ish feedback. Some of them wasn't that much good. Some of them was a little bit, annoying. So we just gathered them like approximately 200 and 250 feedbacks. A long report. It was like 10 pages of the PDF or something. We send them, and what you see on the screen right now, the furniture buff thing, all these things that we will talk about, the overall changes, latest patches for last year, every one of them comes from that feedback. So I can guarantee that developers listen our voices, but we have to be, we have to show that all these things comes from the community, not only from me, not only from that guy. It's not a personal thing. The community wants that thing, and they're actually listening us. All viewers will remember while I'm preparing that PDF. So what do you think about this new UI thing, the new buffs?
I think it was a very much needed thing, and I think overall with this quality of life, probably the feedback is a big part, but it has to, I think, regarding them actually implementing our feedback into the game, has to meet this sort of balance where it's easy for them to develop and deliver it, right? Like if it's actually like manageable to be done, and I think those met the criteria, and that's why they go through. And I think it's gonna be very much needed, I believe, especially for the they mentioned how complex the stats for everyone have become, rather than just the GES and the APDP, spreading it out into actual AP, combined it with raise damage and all that. I think it's gonna be huge, actually.
So let me just try to show that thing here. So they mentioned that what you said, like the species AP thing, isn't it? The total PV
Yes.
AP. Here is the example of that. For example, this is for Comma-Sylvian, Demi-Human, Human, or something. But according to my experience, like species AP, they do not care about the cap. So how we will understand that maybe they can add 1030 plus 54 here to understand it. It's still not efficient. It's good, it's way better compared to before. You do not need to check it non-stop. But to min-max something, to understand the actual potential of your class, for example at Darkseeker speed, whenever you reach 1150 AP, you just capped by 70%. Like you only value this 30% of the additional when you exceed it, and that's all demi-humans AP. They're working good. But also, according to the tests, did they fix it? I don't know. Maybe you guys know it. Did they fix the, what was the name? The species AP? Are they working like 1 AP equal to 1 species AP? Or it was like 0.085 or something? Anyone
It's
know?
0.9, yeah.
Yes.
Ever
Yeah.
since, so before they did the DR evasion rework, species damage in PvE worked as a random roll between 1 and 0.7.
Yep.
When they did the rework, they also changed species damage to always apply, I think, as 0.9 in PvE.
So how this will be the way, can we see, for example, it says 1129 for demi-humans, and here is this will not be actual effect then.
What it means is it's gonna sum your AP and the demi-human AP, so you will have the number of normal plus demi-human effective AP you will have, but not. I'm not sure if it factors in the AP cap, but it should though, because you can check it on the grind spot. So like when you click on the grind spot, maybe it will show like a bit less AP than you have, counting for the cap as well.
It should work like that, and if they want to actually nail it for me, I would really love, like right now on the monster one, if you really want to have the precise number when you are actually grinding and have your add-on up and all that, you have to refresh the window. So I would like that the actual number gets updated on top left of your corner constantly.
I mean, you could probably just reopen your inventory or something, you know?
Yeah, or something like that.
I mean, you can put it in your inventory soon, so I would assume it works the same as the info tab for grind zone. So you just reopen it and it's fine.
Yeah.
And
So
it'll show you the ability.
I also like the they will show us the total what you have right now. We know that there's some caps in Lifeskill, or some caps in the class of something. Maybe there is no. Maybe they will announce it. Now we will be able to see that the actual Lifeskill experiences or the combat experiences that you have currently on your character. For example, on the screen you can see this 500%. This will show you the combat exp in total you have right now. Or this is gathering symbol. That's 100% gathering exp you have as an additional right now on your character activated. This is also good. And I don't know what is this thing. For example, A, B, C, they didn't mention in detail. This A plus B plus C, I don't know. Did you guys have any idea what is this?
Maybe just summing up different buffs or something, and ABC is just placeholder.
Maybe different, resources?
We will see. I don't know how they're gonna actually make it, because there was some people actually pointing out that not every aspect of the game was included in there. Like, for example, what was it? Like, there was no hunting or a specific life skill referred, or I don't know. Maybe there's some more to come, and that was just like an image that they threw to us, and we're missing stuff. So who knows? But it's good that they try to gather where everything is coming up, so that you have a more visual window to actually bring it up to you, rather than, as they mentioned, going one by one, checking everything everywhere.
I think they just mentioned something like few months ago about the mount exp scaling.
Oh,
there's something
it was
different.
Capped, I believe.
Yeah, probably it was capped, and they prepared this page and they removed the cap, and the scaling on the mount exp is different if you get the event buff, your self buffs, passives or something. I think that's why they removed that mount cap, exp cap. Maybe we used all the screws for nothing, PA? Huh?
Yeah, and they gave it back. And that's why, to sort of alleviate the loss, they gave back some of the most recent ones used, according to the patch that the following week hit, right? So, yeah.
So Rokon, you're PvP player, I know, but any idea?
It seems like it would be great if you can like set up something in this window and you can check your stats.
Mhm.
But for now, maybe they prepared something like if you use this, and this, you will have such stats related to extra damage. I think they will. I would say they will never show you that on this spot you have 70% cap and you have more than this cap because it depends on the spot and you can't show this in gear window. It should be in the spot window, and what they're doing related to demi-human and humans, I think it's not needed because like you someone want to see the AP, yeah, and you see that you have like more than needed for this spot, that but this includes the demi-human, and
Yeah.
it will calculate another way.
Yeah. So like actually showing all the information and actually getting to know better how you're doing, I think it's the key to this, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna implement it in such a transparent way, like with the AP cap, like the AP in your UI changing dynamically depending on the spot or depending on the capped node wars and shit. I don't think they're gonna do that. I think it's too early to assume they will.
Yeah.
But having the total AP for the build we're using, including species damage, is already a step forward.
Yeah,
Then I guess if someone wants a full view, there's always Garmoth for an overview on your stats. It's kind of sad that we have to use external tools for the stuff,
Yeah.
but at least we have them.
I mean, every
And
game
that
has
is-
no tools that are better than in-house
Yeah.
spin, so...
Yeah. With this sort of, they try to do, let's say, I don't know if Garmoth is gonna feel the difference of people using it. I think people are still gonna use Garmoth.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It seems
Because
like
this is-
they're moving
Yes, sir?
Garmas in game, but
Yeah.
in very weird. Like they can't do this very good, so you still need to use Garmas, but you will have more windows now in game.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if
Yeah.
it's a new player and you don't know what the Garmas is, you have better experience in game.
I feel like also I think this is also very good for all those new people that come into the game. It simplifies a little bit more the view of what the content creators and everyone is talking about, right? It gives it more like an explanation and more visual explanation to them. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like in my videos, I'm trying to explain to people that, hey, you have this AP cap. If you do that, if you exceed this one, this percentage means that you need demi-human or you need something like that. But like for someone who has no idea, even people, they call themselves, hey, I'm experienced video player. They don't know the AP caps, how it's working, how you can, min-max or abuse the things. I'm trying to do that, but you cannot reach everyone in this game. But this new UI thing maybe can give them some idea. Hey, oh wait, this demi-human also means something. I don't know.
overall, it's gonna be helpful
Yeah,
for
exactly.
everyone. That's for sure.
Exactly. So the other life skill improvements, and when I just saw this one, I just shocked. They talked about the AFK fishing thing, and they said that they are happy. We all know that AFK fishing thing is just changed game a lot. We were waiting that thing. That AFK fishing, the values and everything was on the exactly the PDF that I just mentioned. The total amount, I said that in one night, let's say someone can get 1 billion per hour. You're getting 1 billion per hour in one night, in 10 hours or something. And yeah, like now they just make some kind of different thing in active training or, catching horses from wild nature. What they mentioned that in before, you can get all guaranteed tier 6, very low chance tier 7. I saw one time in tier 7, but I couldn't catch it. Someone was catching it, and I asked him, hey, do you know that that horse is tier 7? Because the appearance of the tier 7 is different than the other one.
Yeah.
You can understand. He doesn't even know what he just got. So now the new tiers will be tier 6, tier 7. It will be mix up. Tier 8 will be very low chance. additional things to that one. And before it was in between level 1 and level 10 when you catch a horse. Now it will be level 1 and 20. So if you're lucky and if you catch a horse a level 15 or more, you'll be able to directly sell it to the Imperial Delivery. Big W.
Yep, I think that one is big. And honestly, I'm fine with it because you actually have to get into it. I feel like the horse training community is going to be happy. Like that, and with the addition of like actually being possible to add new horses to your wagon, it's kind of huge. So I don't know, maybe there's some crazy horse training people out there that is gonna make, I don't know, 20 billion thingy coming up. I don't know. I don't know
I
how
don't
it's
wonder.
gonna be. You know one?
Oh yeah.
I think it's gonna be good. I think it gives a second life to all these kind of life skills rather than just being an AFK fishing thingy, which is
Like-
gonna be still there, right? Because it's way too good. But yeah, it just adds up to the possibilities in this game. So
The thing is, people maybe missing this part. Maybe the listeners or viewers will miss this part. To do active catch horsing, that life skill thing, you need nothing, literally. You only need one rope and the sugar to feed the horse.
sugar lumps. Yeah.
That's all you need. So this can be a really good step for someone who has nothing in Black Desert Online, literally nada. You can just make some pure silver from there. Even now, people doing that method, like casual players, they're going there, catching horses, they're leveling up their training in the first part, they're selling those horses to the Imperial or on the marketplace. There are lots of tier 6 on the marketplace. If you're lucky, whenever you catch a horse with a 3 what was the name, courser skill, it's being suddenly a 200 million silver thing, and you need nothing, literally zero mastery, zero equipment. You can get the sugar from marketplace, 2k per each or something, and ropes completely free.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah, that's a
That's
good
right.
thing for newbies, I believe. We will see it.
Yep.
Any other changes? Let me just check what they talked about.
The inclusion of the fishing part for the Karak.
Yes.
Oh
know,
yes.
AFK fishing, I think, or something for it. I'm not sure. I fast forwarded through the parts. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
The thing is, it's gonna barely be like if you're bartering, you're gonna have someone AFK fishing for you while you're moving around, which is, I guess, money increase. But I don't know. Maybe it's good. I think
I
they also
mean,
set it
wait.
up.
Oh, I thought it was you AFK fishing on Karak. Wait.
No, so
No, no, no,
here's
no.
the thing.
Percentages or what?
So you're gonna be riding your Karak. You're gonna be controlling your Karak maybe while you're bartering, and an NPC sailor is gonna be gathering all the fishes while you're doing the barter,
Yeah.
and they're gonna go into your inventory with the preference of the the fish tank.
Yeah.
That's
So-
crazy, no?
And
It's
mastery is not gonna affect it.
Yeah.
And there's
Why
gonna
not?
be a base 1% prize fish catch.
But you
rate,
can
I
increase it,
think.
right?
No, you can't.
There's no way. Like
Okay,
mastery is gonna be.
no,
It's
no,
not
no,
gonna
but
affect it.
other ways like better seller or something. Because you're saying base, or is it just like only
It's fixed.
only
It's fixed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fixed. Like mastery is
I
not
mean-
gonna affect it. I don't think there's gonna be a specific sailor for.
I think it's gonna
yeah.
be insane, no?
No,
I have
Even
no
if
you know,
it's
clue.
half
I don't
current
know.
fish-
no, it will
money
be.
per
It
hour.
will work like this. While you only sailing, you'll be
No, I
able to
know,
do
but,
AFK fishing.
Yeah, but listen, you can like if you're semi AFK at home or something,
Uh-huh.
you're just doing bartering anyways if you have
Yep.
a bag or whatever, and it's it's already like not completely tragic amount of money for bartering, so you're gonna get fishing on top of that as well. So that's gonna be very good for AFK players, I think.
Yeah.
But the
for
thing is, where are you
barters, it's-
fishing, man?
I mean, does it really matter?
I
It's
mean,
better, yeah.
it
Even if
depends.
it's
Maybe
even if
you're.
it's 100 to 100 mil per hour additional, it's still gonna be insane, no?
Yeah, could be. I mean, I don't know how much is gonna impact.
The problem on
fishing an
barter-
hour right now. It depends a lot on the spot. So
Yeah. The problem on barter, yes, maybe you can buy directly the Karak from marketplace, or you can start the game and you can just craft it for yourself. It's 10 times easier to craft compared to first release of the Karak and this barter content.
Definitely.
Everything is okay until the point where you just become 20k barter. Like you have to do 20k barter to open all the routes in the game. But how many routes we have? 13, 14 or something? To make some, like, it's not even decent for the current situation of the game. Like, make some money, you need to just activate all the routes in the game. This is not okay if you ask me. And like, PA is non-stop buffing and changing the barters and all other things in the game. Yes, they made everything easier. They slightly buffed the barter. Like you can make maybe 1.12 2-3 billion in a day or something. That's all okay, but these are the max values that you can reach. To reach the 20k barter, it takes maybe 3-4 months or something, maybe even more than that. Like lots of effort, lots of investment to do something. At the end of the day, it's not even to equal to early or mid-game spots. I don't care if it is AFK or something. Until that point, I will spend lots of money in it. So, for example, we talked about the fishing, isn't it? It's completely AFK. You're doing nothing. You just set AFK your character. If you want, you can do some investment. You can increase your mastery. Like reaching 2k mastery is not that hard in these days. It was hard before, but now it's totally fine. You just spend money on it. Let's say that you spend 100 billion to reach 2k mastery. In 100 days as AFK, you can reach that, or in 60 days. But in barter, it's another scenario. It's not fully AFK. The money is not that much. Okay, it's limited by day. In one day, you have limits. You do 3 times barter or something, or 4 times. I don't know. It's limited, and it's discouraging people to do barter. So this AFK fishing thing in the on the ship, on your vessel, the NPC or the courier will fish for you while you're sailing. They just add that thing. You cannot just stay AFK on your fishing, on your whale, on your vessel, on your karak, and you have to sail. If you not sail, it automatically stops. So it's only good for barter, but you will do your barter thing in the narrow, shallow waters, not in ocean. So they will not be valuable fish. Overall, from my perspective, long time game experience and something. I have 40k barter, by the way. It is not that much big issue, that much big deal. Maybe 100 million additional per day. That's all.
Loony, what do you think? I feel like you were trying to say something.
I feel like it's gonna be a lot better than you guys are expecting, to be honest.
Hopefully.
I do feel like it's gonna be extremely noticeable.
Hopefully. I would love to see it. It's because we talked about the barter. You can grind at sea, isn't it? There are spots. You can make money. You can just craft the Manos tool. I can't remember the name. Manos book or something. You can make money from it. So while you're doing that, it would be really nice to see some good AFK fishing money, also additional things. I would be happy for them. There are like maybe 1% of the game doing this active, hunting, or it's low amount of players doing this content in a game, but I'll be happy for them.
For me as a player, one thing that has always kept me from doing bartering was that at the beginning when I played the game, it was that consistency on actually doing the dailies and gathering all the materials. I started doing it and I fell off that path midway. So now the character is easier, but then in order to actually recover the time invested and everything, it also is time gated to actually like bartering giving you money, right? So what should I do? Do I do a semi-AFK life skill, or do I just get the rod that they're giving me for free on season pass? And I just start fishing AFK and that's it. I think they should kind of not do that with life skills. Like it should be a little bit more immediate, that you are able to obtain the resources just by a snap of your fingers, so that you can actually see it. Sure, you have to recover from an investment, but not like time gated. I think that's what I think.
I forgot to mention this on the screen. You can see slower growth. New wild horses. I don't know. Nobody knows what are they.
True.
Probably we'll get them like with a rare chance. They will grow slower. The Imperial delivery prices with 3-4 times better. And also a different thing. Additional. These slower ones, I believe. The female ones, you'll be able to breed them 4 times instead of 1. Because female horses, you can 1 default. If you do pay to win, it's twice. But 4 breeding counts. So if I do pay to win on this one, am I going to get additional 4 breeding again? That would be broken.
I'm not too sure how that's going to work, honestly.
Because like on high level of training, semi-AFK, active training or something, you're dealing good. You're getting good money, by the way. I'm just making good money from the training.
Yeah, I've seen you in actually training quite a lot in streams.
Yeah,
like when you're saving some time.
Instead of fishing, I prefer
the right horse right.
Yeah, instead of fishing, I prefer to go for AFK training, because for the current situation, it's better for me. AFK fishing, I don't know, it's not worth for me. It's because value is exhausted. Going to the other places is not that much, good. I don't know, from my perspective.
I feel like it really depends on how you play the game, right? For me, except for my example, in my case, I have a lot of AFK time where I'm not at home at all. So maybe there's 16 hours where I just cannot touch my PC. That's why bartering doesn't appeal me. Horse training doesn't appeal me. I would just like come home from work and see my fish tank full of silver brailled fishes and saying, "Oh, I got just 2 billion for free," when I was at home. So I think it just depends on how you play the game and what suits you, honestly, like the way you play.
We have other things that they mentioned. We're still on the life skill part, and they just mentioned lots of things in the life skill. This female horse thing, and contribution point and the node investment changes are also good. What do you think?
That's definitely good. So far, contribution points have been kind of hard capped. Well, not really hard capped, but heavily soft capped for a long while. And with all the stuff that we got, all the new areas, all the new production points, plus other ways to invest contribution points, we have been running dry for a while now. So it's a more than welcome change.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I've actually reworked my. I've kind of been playing around with all my workers and everything with different tools to like try to set up all this big empire that also give me AFK money while I'm fishing. And I'm starting to do like I've been doing all this April month without touching any of those materials, and I just get them and sell them straight into the marketplace. I don't care how the price is. I don't like. I just sell them through. And so far, I think it's like 12 billion over there gathered in like 22 days. So I expect it to be 15 billion just by materials and then selling them raw. So giving me more contribution to actually get more workers and more lodging and all that. I mean, give it to me, more extra money.
Yeah, that's good. And additional nodes, they're also nice, I believe. What do you think? The Ulukita will have additional nodes.
Yeah. It was weird for me. Like, how do they release the region? Like, there's no other case that they've done that. Even with Land of the Morning Light, whenever they released it, they already had all those resources already implemented. So for me, Lukita was, why not? You know?
But they worked for Land of the Morning Light more than 2 years.
True.
It was their own content, their culture. Yeah. So what about the other things?
Fair,
like
we still have no residents in Land of the Morning Light outside of the manor, right?
True, that's true.
So if I ever want to place furniture somewhere to grind the pick cave, yeah, good luck with that.
You press G, you go into
You don't need to place anything. The introducing scroll.
Yeah, with that, of course. With that, of course. But so far, it's either been go back to mainland or go to Guild Manor.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
The alchemy. I'm kind of an semi-AFK, not full-time alchemist, but I'm kind of alchemist. I'd really like to do alchemy. I'm not specifically gather if I don't need. Most of the time, I'm doing alchemy when I have the resources, raw materials from the nodes. Or if I need, I can buy them from marketplace if I can have. The elixir weight adjustments, from my perspective, EW. It's because in AFK alchemy, the alchemy materials are heavy. You're getting them. Normally, you consume the materials, raw materials, while you're doing alchemy, isn't it? But the products that you just crafted, they are heavier than you just put in it. For example, you put 1.5 liters something, outcome is 2.5. At the end of the day, your character needs to stop, because you will just exceed the weight limit of your character. But with the new adjustments that they announced, this one, it will be way better, because they will just fix the entire elixirs 0.2 if I'm not wrong. That's big W.
Yes, it was 0.2.
Let me just check it. The green ones will be 0.2, I believe. Yes,
yeah,
all
blue and green will be 0.2.
They all will be the same. Also, they mentioned, finally, they realized that the Imperial Alchemy is not popular like the cooking. Cooking is not also like popular, if you ask me, but it's doable compared to alchemy. Like now, they reduced the amount of the elixirs you're gonna put the alchemy boxes. I don't know how it will affect. It's not that much big. I thought it's big, but now it's like, now I realize that it's not that much big. We will see. Maybe we can just make money from it. At least
not
selling them.
Losing money.
Yeah, at least you will not lose money. Yeah, this will be interesting.
Which is the saddest part. Another thing that refrained me always to do alchemy, not other that I have no clue, but also like whenever I start listening people, hey, be careful with alchemy because whatever you do, you might be losing money, and I'm like, okay, maybe I don't touch this and I'll be safe, you know?
Yeah, hunting. We mentioned in the beginning of the video when we talk about the the stuffed heads or something. Now you'll be able to just reload your weapon way too faster while you're rolling, while you're running, like sprinting like this one. That's good for hunting, active hunting. But there is no something about sniper hunting, I believe. Maybe they think sniper hunting is enough.
I mean, it is enough.
Yeah,
You
mostly.
make way more silver hunting right now than grinding, even sniper hunting at least.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I've heard.
True. Like, it's not that much easy. Of course, you need mastery for it. You need investment. You need other things. Also, you need to min-max something. But people doing over 3 billion active sniper hunting, it's like almost pure silver, by the way. Not when you craft when you craft something or like. You can find the shop on the marketplace, black games on the marketplace, the meat and all other things. You can sell them always on the marketplace. That's why sniper hunting, active sniper hunting, over 2.5k, 2.6k mastery is giving you up to 3 billion. The good part is this thing, you don't need loot scrolls. No loot scrolls, up to 3 billion silver, big W. From my perspective, what do you think, guys?
Do you any go Arkyve?
I mean, it's been long due. They keep microbuffing life skills here and there, alchemy included, especially when some time ago, and the iridescent ice stone prices went up to unbelievable level. But yeah, most life skills are still outdated in terms of revenue, so they do need some buffs here and there because they're definitely not keeping up with the modern day grinding.
Yeah, maybe they're being precautious is because if we buff them a lot, when they just released the barter, I don't know if you guys remember, when they released the barter, they created a huge inflation in the game. Silver is just lost its value a lot. Maybe they're afraid of this. I don't know.
Yeah, they're definitely afraid of increasing revenue too much on AFK or semi-AFK activities because people can just do it overnight or while they would normally be playing, like during work, for example, if they work from home. But yeah, those methods of revenue have been long, well, not forgotten, but they have long needed some changes to be up to date.
Yeah, what they talked about. The trade wagon adjustments, I'll just cover this. Let me try to explain. Increase the trade wagon from 4 to 5. This means they did it's because we're not using the transportation. Like maybe most of the players, they don't know that there's a transportation thing in the game. You can transport your items from one storage to the other storage, and you have trade wagon. 5 normal wagon, this is for normal. Trade wagon for the trade items. They have made it's because of the sale update. In sale updates, I will add this guide on my YouTube channel soon. With this Royal Workshop thing, you can transfer your trade items that you craft in there to the Valencia, so you can sell them, so you can make money. So the one trade wagon is not being enough because there's some kind of slot limits. But there are different type of the trade items. So they're adding more trade wagons. It's not about the weight limits, it's about the slots. Instead of increasing the trade wagon slots, they're adding more trade wagon. So they will fix the issue like that. That's why they did it. It's not a big thing.
And especially after they included the storage thingy with the Magnus, it has, to me personally, I mean, sure, for trading items, I think it's a little bit obsolete system. I don't know why they don't just, remove it or something. Honestly, I don't know how big it is for traders, those cards, but with Magnus, you just grab all your stuff, then TP, and you're free to go. I don't know.
Like there's some things that PA being stubborn. Maybe they can just stop being stubborn about trade. They don't want people do active trade or something. Like that would be nice. They don't want to make it easy. That would be nice to see that you're crafting lots of crates, isn't it, to make some money. So you have to carry them with your horse or something slowly to the Valencia, or you have to use the trade wagon to do that instead of one go. Like, just let me just transfer it with the Magnus. What are you gonna do? Like, am I gonna just print silver with that method? No, just give me that thing. Like, they already like losing lots of time to craft them, and also losing time to transport them. What is the point? Make it easier. I don't know.
I remember back in my young days in video, grabbing, I don't know which wagon that it was, and being attacked by these NPCs midway and losing my stuff. I don't know. There's such a concept behind trading that I don't know why they don't explore. Maybe it's development issues or difficulties, but there could be a lot of content in there. Honestly, I don't know what you guys feel like.
Some people loved trading when it was a viable method to make money, but I mean, at this point, I think it's been forgotten for 2-3 years.
Indeed.
I think with the new routes for trading being opened, longer distances, and some balancing issues when trading was actually good, I think PA can't be bothered to revamp it and re-release it in a good state at the moment. I would say, I mean, it's probably in the works. It's probably something they've been working on for a long time, but I don't think it's we're close to seeing it again in play.
Another thing, you guys are done with the life skill because it's done with the life skill.
Yes, let's
Another
go
thing.
into the big one.
The final Gladio. This is the thing. The Ilesra is the final boss of the Atoraxxion. According to their explanation, we will face with Ilesra, probably. I so just pronounce for me. For this boss, this lady, solo. This will not be party content. According to their explanation, solo final face with the boss. Maybe it will be weekly content. What they said that it will be equal to the difficulty will be equal to Calamity 10 solo bosses in the Black Shrine. So tell me guys, what do you think?
I think as far as difficulty goes, that's a pretty way to introduce a boss that is supposed to close a years-long narrative arc. On the other hand, C10 bosses have their own design and artificial difficulty issues that need to be addressed. So I hope in that regard, GA does a better job with the Ilesra than they did with the Sangoon and the Picking.
Yeah.
I think what I want to see in the boss is actually engaging mechanics, to be honest, because so far the Picking and Sangoon have been a complete disappointment for me personally.
It's because you're playing Witch.
Yeah,
No,
it's
but
too easy when you handle Witch.
I can also do it on probably at least 80% of other classes with no difficulty.
Okay.
But
I was
come
gonna say
from WoW, so
yeah.
boss design is very dear thing to me, as they say.
Yeah, because of the game mechanic, we cannot see probably the full level of the boss design. That's different things they need because it always offers you different type of class mechanics, if I'm not wrong. Healer, tank, something like that. But most of the time in the game we are solo, or maximum five-man party. It's so hard in this game at least. Like, I want to mention something, one chronic issue of these type of PvE mods. In these type of mods, these bosses are attacking strong skills. You need to use PvI frame. Not every class has the proper PvI frame in the game. It needs to fix that. Playing Dracania, for example, we have to roll. There are other classes like that, Guardian, Mystic Striker, maybe more than half of the game. They don't have proper PvI frames, which makes them their game is just be turned into bad experience game. Like, nobody wants to die while they use their PvI frame. It says it's PvI frame rolling, for example, but you die easily because there's a gap. What do you think?
I think this is a problem on two fronts. First being, as you said, all classes having the same tools for having PvE iframes. Some of them don't really have PvE iframes. They have to rely on their PvP iframes, which in most cases have SA gaps, in which you can get hit. And in most cases with those bosses, you will even get CC'd out of SA, out of forward guard, out of protections, unless it's specifically iframe. But this is only part of the issue. The other issue is a design problem in terms of the bosses. The fact that you even need to have a spammable iframe to get through certain mechanics, through certain boss patterns, I don't feel like that's good design. I like when you can see a boss attack, a boss pattern, and instead of just keep spamming iframes until the mechanic is over, you can play reactively and know exactly the timings of those attacks to fit in as much damage and as much gameplay you can on your side outside of just dodging. In the case of picking, for example, even more so than Sangun, he has so many attack patterns that just force you to sit in iframe because you can't realistically move away from him, you can't realistically stay close to him, so you just have to keep cycling iframes hoping that you don't get hit in a gap. And some of those attacks are not even properly telegraphed, so you just have to use an iframe, either PvE or PvP, and throw in a Hail Mary. And I don't feel like that's good design in terms of bosses. Being able to learn the boss attacks and boss patterns in a way that you can, like, it feels good when in games with good PvE design, you can learn how a boss or a type of mob or a spot works to the point where you can actually feel like you're punishing the boss. You're the one dictating the flow of the fight. And right now you can kind of do it in the case of Sangun. I feel like it's getting stale because people are learning it too much, but you can definitely learn it to an extent where you can just steamroll it. In the case of picking, in the case of some other bosses, it just feel like they have so much artificial difficulty built into them because they don't have better design options in their movesets, and they will just rely on throwing massive AoE wipe attacks that even through the lack of your PvI frames or just simply desync, you will just end up getting punished for nothing. Doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I cannot agree more.
I don't know why, but looks like they forgot that they have like PvE skills because they use them only in Pit of Undying. For me, it would be much interesting and better if I can, for example, CC boss during some his skill. So I don't need to PvE. I frame a few seconds. I just need to use knockdown and boss will be CC'd for a few seconds. It feels more better for me.
Yeah.
Sangun has this. Sangun has some attack patterns that you can CC through.
So does picking.
What, sorry?
So does picking.
Yes.
Active, I think it's his own attack patterns that CC him, right? Like if you
at the third jump, you can bond or knock down. You can use these CCs. Yeah, and they just CC the mob.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, this is also, I want to talk about Drug again. Drug, like 60% of the skill kit has no down attack. There are other classes like this. So most of the skills in the game, they're adding in game some down attack related things, some PV spots, some other things. I'm giving examples from Drug. It's because I'm Drug main. I'm not trying to cry. These are the chronic issues of the game. If you add something into the game, if that part, for example, you have like 5-6 seconds free down attack DPS in the game, then give every class, at least in every skill, PV special down attack. They can code it if I'm not wrong.
For me, down attack is not an issue because most of the Awakening Sage damage is actually down attack. So yeah, it has to be in sort of a way, I don't know, equalized, which is something that they have improved to be very good at so far. So yeah.
So if you guys have no question, it's a perfect time that we can start with the class balance that they started to tell us a story. Yeah, like what you think of the current situation. Like we will talk about PvP later. The PvE situation, like it shouldn't be that much hard to just balance the PvE in this game. Might be hard for some specs, for some situations, but overall, they said that we just decreased the gap in between classes, but they didn't. What do you think, guys?
I think when they started the round of balancing, the direction was pretty good. Then they got lost. They really got lost over time. They started overdoing some buffs, delivering some unnecessary nerfs. Like, for example, Warrior, they buffed him. It was clearly too much. Then they said, okay, let's roll it back a little bit. They rolled it back. I think everyone was happy. And then they said, okay, let's nerf it again. Why? It's not an overused class. It's in a good state after the first nerf.
Yeah.
And like most classes have been in the game so far, if you have a class that is not great in PvP, but it's doing really well in PvE, I think that's fine. And Warrior, after the first round of nerfs, was pretty much that, and it wasn't overpowered in PvE. But they decided to nerf it again, and they did the same with Archer.
And Ranger.
I still don't know why. And Ranger, like, there are some classes that are underused and they're not doing extremely well in PvP, and having
which?
them, what,
Hmm?
sorry?
Like which?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much as well. Which has been kind of victim for a long time in PvP.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they, like, after the first round of nerfs, they were good classes, good PvE classes. They didn't need to nerf them again. Because now they don't have a niche where they're good anymore. They are just whatever. Meanwhile, some other classes are either good at everything or they still do have a niche where they excel, and while they're suboptimal in the rest, which I think is a fair middle ground, unless you want to have all classes being able to do everything, which it can be good, it can be bad, it depends on game design.
I agree to pretty much everything you say. I think that the initial thought of actually kind of shaking up all the scene of PvE was actually a very good idea but I don't think the work that they've done so far has met all the goals that they want to establish. And yeah, I think all those cases especially are suffering because of the state of PvP in itself and builds and carpet meta. And I don't think, for example, Warrior is getting the benefits as, for example, Strikers or Berserkers, where they just feel tankier by nature. And sure, like, don't get me wrong, like, a Warrior can feel tanky, but it's not going to be feeling as oppressive as those other classes. I feel like it's the same cases as Valkyries and all that. They can get their job done, but it's way harder and it's going to be less impactful than all these classes that are super OP. And by the way, those classes are still to be buffed on the upcoming weeks. So yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, you talked about Warrior. The second nerf, not needed. They just nerfed
Absolutely not.
Ranger. They nerfed Ranger once, but that nerf was like Giga nerf. 20%, 25% Giga PV nerf. The class was already in the bottom tier. They buffed it. Okay, let's say that we didn't see any single change, good videos or something. I only saw Dark Secret Street 2 tides 47k or something. It's pretty normal, and for the current situation of the game, of course. But what I have no idea what to say about the Archer. They completely changed the class in PvP.
Yeah.
All my Archer friends crying about the situation. How can an Archer it cannot be effective in long range fights? That's what they say. They changed the complete skill kit. They buffed it, and they were started being good in PvE, and bam, nerf it 2 times. Like what they did on Warrior, they did the same on the Archer. So what type of nerfs we got? Suck Sword nerf, for example. It wasn't like broken or something. There are broken classes. Finally, some classes started to feel good in PvE thanks to your bold buffs. That was one of the most, actual good step after long year of class balancing in the game. But what they did, we gave 2, now we take 1 back. We gave 3, now we take 2 of back. I don't know, dude. Like, I have lots of things to talk about, but I don't want to be toxic.
I think there's also one thing that we're missing, which is Ranger, Warrior, and Berserker were classes that actually were in the hardcore, kind of, server into gameplay. So I think they kind of received a different treatment from the other classes. Because I don't know, maybe if which was there, maybe the difference in how they would have treated the buffs and nerfs and which would have been different, right? So I think those classes received more attention and maybe they were more scared of the result that could come because of the new released hardcore servers that they just did.
I think if they did take an experimental pre-season game mode as a point of reference for balancing, which, by the way, that game mode doesn't have any similarities in terms of stat builds or gear compared to normal servers.
Yeah.
If they took that into consideration for balancing, while they could have just switched things on those builds up, then that's a really terrible design choice.
Yes. And I think it's one of the biggest mistakes I've seen them do designing wise, which is in itself the project of hardcore. And I'm gonna say it, I'm not gonna hide it. Just by the first glance, I said, I'm not gonna touch this mode, even if it makes me a lot of money. I cannot play my class. The system in itself, I don't like the idea behind it. And yeah, like I could say that most of the treatments to those classes, I have no like objective facts to actually say it is because of that, but it could very well be those balancing being around that game mode that they just created out of nowhere. It wouldn't surprise me actually, because I feel like the first weeks of hardcore, people were complaining on how much damage Ranger was doing or all that, and then they buffed them to Narnia and they just get their heads chopped off, and it didn't make any sense to me at least.
Now looking at hardcore server, I really don't know what the targets of the game mode is. It definitely doesn't appeal to everyone because it's you only have limited classes. If you main a class that is not on the server, you're not going to enjoy it. If it's for the purpose of having people consider other classes for rerolling and stuff, it's also not a good showcase because you're going to have classes severely limited by not having add-ons, by having very low attack speed. It doesn't feel good to play. I don't think it's good for balancing either, because you're putting few classes together and you're looking at how they perform in a vacuum against each other. You're not seeing the full picture. So putting only few classes at a time in a hardcore server, I sincerely don't know what purpose it has for the game in terms of balance or enjoyability or anything else, to be honest. I don't see the point.
Like balancing classes without add-ons, without like I don't know, meals or something. If they did that thing, all these nerfs to Ranger and Warrior because of the hardcore server, you guys have no clue about your game is working, because like you're creating a different game outside of that hardcore server and for only 1 month, and they nerfed the classes because of that. I don't know, maybe. That's, I don't know, dude. And the storytelling about that thing, that I just like turn into a madman while I'm streaming when they started. Until the class balance thing, class balance part in this devs commentary, I was totally fine. I was just like clapping, all good, 10 out of 10 devs commentary or something. But when it encountered with the class balance changes, they started the storytelling. They think that we are stupid or something. They said that we just got hundreds of tests or something. Bro, if you just test any class in any sport, you would know that which class is bad, or you have no... I don't think you played this game for 100 hours properly without your job for fun. Okay, so were they actually... Probably they said in one of the balls or something, they have some kind of track system in front of them. They see the skills and all the damages in there, but in practice, everything is different in your books. Life is different in your life is just way different in the books. So they don't know that their game in practice is different than their track system. All players, everyone is trying to explain it. Everyone is trying to explain them to that it's completely different. What you see on your track system and in game. Like they're saying, they also said that we'll listen to your feedbacks. Thanks for the old feedbacks or something. No, you didn't. Except the quality of life and the life skill part, all the parts, for the class balance. They almost never ever listen to the community's wishes. Where is, for example,
story,
yeah, like where is the Awakening Sage nurse? Where is the Awakening Striker nurse? People waiting for it. Where is the Succession Hashashi nurse? Like it's just like hot topic right now, isn't it? You're just balancing the classes every week. It's been 7 weeks, and there will be 1 or maybe 2 more weeks. In that time, people gave lots of feedbacks. You said that I listened. We're listening to the feedbacks. No, you do not. Stop lying. That's why I'm mad. They're lying. They're lying, and that lying thing is just making me mad. It's because I will just give an example again. Drug just at dead class on arrival for PvE. Now let me just explain the story. Like tell me the story. Drokania is just spent 10 days in global lab, not like 3 days like the other classes. In that 10 days, we tested class a lot, Awakening Drug. And at the end of 10 days, everyone, whoever tested, we said that, hey, a little bit damage on the class will feel better compared to 2 years ago's, PvE balance. And everyone just said that like 10% PvE damage is good. Class is good, skill kit is good, amazing, new unique class or something. You know what they did? On official release, instead of buffing class, everyone was expecting buff, they nerfed entire skill kit by 30%. There is no other example like this. None class treated like that. So they should stop lying us about the classes. We know how these classes better than you. If this is toxic, I'm the toxic one. I know better than any of the developers, most of the classes. I'm not trying to be egoist or something. These people also know. Because we are playing this game actively. You're playing, that guy is playing. Like other mains are playing. We are not casuals, we are veterans. We spend time min-maxing everything. We are doing it in live, in practice, not according to the track system in front of me. So when we send feedback, when we say something, this is problem, this is chronic, this feels bad compared to other classes, please fix it. When we say this, there's a reason behind it. And me and the drug community in last 2 years, from the release until now, in total, until this point, we send 6 detailed report to the developers. There is none changes that they check from it and apply it to the game. So stop fucking lying to these people, okay? I might be content creator, official partner of this, of PD or something, but stop fucking lying. We are not stupid. You will never listen community's wishes if there is not something popular. You will never listen community's wishes about class balance. If there is something like popular, PA is populist company, they like to nerfs and buffs classes, especially the nerfs. If something popular, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think, the current situation. We can start to talk about this.
So
I think.
yeah, go on.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, just to add to what you've said, Quindia, I think, like, maybe I'm wrong, okay, but this is the very first time that they've actually mentioned the comparison of, okay, we have run a lot of tests. We have this method where we can gather all this information of how the classes are supposed to work, how we think the classes are working, and we know, like they've actually said it on this dev note, we know that the players actually do it better than us. Like they have actually come to that conclusion that players have more abilities and more capacities. Yes, after a long time, this is the first time that I've heard from them that the players actually can stretch the potential of the classes and do better than what they do, what they've done so far. So for me listening that and actually like, because this let us know that they actually have a team behind class by class maybe, and deciding whether this class needs a tweak, whether this class needs buffs and all that. And to me now, all this sounds like if your class developer sucks at your class and says, okay, my class needs buffs because I cannot pull it, then you're gonna get it. And that's why I think Awakening Sage is in the state that it is right now. The class in itself has several cancels and some complexity where you can actually play and it has its skill ceiling. And that's why you're seeing Diego pulling that much in Darkseeker's Retreat. He did with no noteware buff 22k, 22 point something k in Orsikia. Like, if it all comes down whether your developer is good at the class, and that's why maybe on Warrior Ranger I want to believe the developers kinda know what their class does and actually come to the conclusion that their class needs to be nerfed. And then on the other hand, developers that have no clue what they're doing, maybe it's the case of Awakening Dracania. Like, what can we expect? Because the feedback definitely, it's more like the way that they take feedback, I believe, is like, oh, this class is OP on PvP, we have to take care of it. And then they bring it down to be a completely irrelevant class like Awakening Dracania case. Because for her entire history, since her release, I've never seen an Awakening Dracania do well in, like, never. Actually never. So yeah, my point is, and to come to a conclusion, I do really think this is what we have to expect. Like, the company has its team, they want to stick to their workers and the work that they do, and actually we have to pray to our developer to consider our class being in need of buffs rather than actually listen to the feedback or being accurate in what their tests and results are.
I think as far as class balance goes, unlike quality of life or content update, they have always been, like most developers in fact, they have been very reluctant to take feedback in regards to class balance, because of course class balance feedback is always going to subject to personal bias. Not to say that out there aren't people that are not going to give unbiased reports on how a class perform and how it should perform. There are plenty of people that will give unbiased reports on it, but most people will be biased for it. Most people who main a class will unknowingly want it to be overpowered. They will unknowingly ask for changes for the class to be overpowered, whether they aim for it or not. So PA is naturally reluctant to take that kind of feedback into consideration. At the same time, we know it, they know it. While we might be biased, they are not informed on how things work into their game, because they only explore it on a superficial level, while players who play classes and play content, interactive content for a long time, they know how those things work at a deep level. So right now, more than asking, like finding what's the word? More than asking A to take feedback into consideration, I think it's more appropriate to try and find solutions for A to gather legitimate and reliable feedback. Because right now, if they go around in class discords looking for feedback on the classes, like they have done sometimes, and they have done it. They've done it with me. They've done it with the Warrior Discord a few times, as far as I know, and probably others. I just simply don't have detailed accounts on all times. But those feedbacks will most likely be scrapped most of the time, or only be partially introduced with also some writing in between the lines for things they want to do to counterbalance those changes, which is obviously not going to have the desired results. But I think PA should consider options to have experienced players, quote unquote, working for them, well, even unpaid, of course, we're not PA employees, but volunteering to play even on Global Lab server and gather data in PvE and PvP and send the detailed reports to them.
Let me be their hamster, honestly. I would pay to be their laboratory rat.
Honestly say. But yeah, I think at this point it's not, rather, we shouldn't ask ourselves whether should take our feedback or not, because we all know they don't really do it as much as we would want to in terms of class changes, but we should be asking ourselves and ask them what solution we could put in place for them to gather reliable feedback. And they do need to get to the drawing board to find a way, because they're never going to have detailed information like the players have. It's never going to happen. We are no-lifing this game. We know the ins and outs. They are developing, yes, but they don't know how those changes will affect the game in practice.
Yeah, like we expect from them many times. Just make a Discord. Just create a Discord for every class. Get some 2 class masters, one for PV, one for PP, or both. I don't care. And ask from them to collect feedback for us. They can collect feedbacks. They can choose which one is logical, which one is not. Like, I'm just giving an example. For Berserker, make this one his choice. For Striker, make it Duvius, for example. Like, for Sage, make it Zetian. They are also streamer, isn't it? Or one of you. Maybe Tad, for example. Tess, or CJ. Like, pick these people, put them into the Discord. They will be only responsible from their own channel, and they will just give them these feedbacks every month, every 3 months, or whenever the whenever the PA asks them, hey, what is the current situation? Please give me. So they can just, you said that people can be biased about their classes, but it's simple to solve that issue. If you mention about a problem, a chronic problem in the class, for example, even Awakening Sage is just S+ in everything in the game, isn't it? One of the most, maybe the most broken class in the game for everything. And
yeah, I think we're up there right now.
Yeah, like even the Awakened Sage has some chronic problems. Like for everything, Awakening Sage, like for everything. When you do comparison, like even Awakening Sage, probably that class has chronic problems. Maybe a gap, maybe PVI frame, for example. Unacceptable chronic issues. I'm not talking about the power level. Like even the most strong or most broken class in the game has chronic issues. So these people can, for example, point out that you can say that fall animation, or you can say that PVI frame problem, PVI frame issue, fall animation issue. Solution, this, or reason, it's because of that. So you can just tell them the problem, you can tell them the reason of the problem, they can fix it. There is nothing biased. You cannot be biased about that. For example, you can say that my class lacks PV damage, and you can just give some examples. With examples, you will not say them specifically buff this skill. Instead of that, PV is a little bit lack damage or cooldown inconsistency. For example, Awakening Shashin was one of the worst PV class in the game. What they did, a little bit buff on Awakening skills, like 10-15%. The most chronic issue of the class has been solved. Like your self buff and self AP buffs or something, all the buffs, initial skills, they're 6 seconds. You have 7-second skill, you have some other fillers, and you have 10-second main damage skill. And now class is smooth as fuck. It's so nice to play. So any class can become like Assassin Awakening. I'm not saying Assassin Awakening is broken, in PvE at least.
No.
Like they can do this and people ready to help them. But they refuse to do that. Or like our GMs and CMs asking them or request us like, hey, you can do some kind of, feedback on forum website. But like we did it as Dracania community 6 times and we sent the 7th feedback like few weeks ago. But nothing is changing. We need some, evidences that they will actually listen what we say. We need that. And Discord would be perfect for it.
I would say that they care only about Korean server. And Hugo, you know the story about Node Wars and specs a few weeks ago? Probably not. So a few weeks ago, my ally took a media castle, and our GM should decide the Node War type for next week. And he tried to do this in 1 hour 10 minutes after, and he saw that he can't do this because the timer is out.
Yeah.
He wrote to support to ask why, because in game and in official site it's right that you have 2 hours to decide. And then support answered that EU and NA office was not notified that this timer was changed a few months ago. Like they just forgot to notify you and NA that you have 1 hour today and now, not 2 hours.
Damn, I didn't know it was the reason behind our suffering that week.
It was.
Damn.
Interesting.
Overall, I'd say like we are sort of in the negative aspect. I want to also bring some light and say that probably like 60% of the balancing that they've done has been good for most of the classes. Maybe if it's not enough or it's another discussion, but probably like 60%. Like for Novas, suck Novas now are kinda able to do what a normal class can do. So like we have to give it up for them, right? So like not everything is dark. Like again, there was some good intentions and there was some good pathing, but at the same time there's that remaining 40% of the classes that either it wasn't enough or it was misleaded and it altered or it switched the PvP more than actually PV. And I'd say that would be the case of Awakening Sage right now. At least on what you're saying in MENA, it's a very popular class right now.
Yeah.
So
well, like people may think that I have no idea about PvP, but I cannot be humble about that. The people most of the time, they learned PvP from my videos. Like because like there are lots of people think that I'm publishing PV videos. They think that I'm not doing PvP. I'm doing active PvP, and in these days there are few classes just making game kinda impossible to play against them. Awakening Sage is one of them, for example. Saka Shashin. If let me just think. Awakening Mayagu, Awakening Striker, Succession Berserker. What are the other things? You guys remember? Just remind me. Which classes you think that's overpowered right now in PvP?
I think damage wise, yeah, Mystic is also very popular.
Utility wise, broken. Yeah.
Utility wise, Awakening Mystic, because it's not only the utility but actual glitch on the kit. Like the vacuum, for example, for us sages would make us cast our shift Q skill and then land and then TP back all the way where the vacuum was. And there's multiple cases I've seen it on Awakening does a shift space. I've seen it on multiple classes that you actually think that you've gone out, but in fact you have not, and you are TP'd all the way back. So yeah, that's Awakening Mystic for everyone. Tank-wise, yeah, Awakening Mystic, Succession Berserker, Striker, pretty much that. Like there's no variation. All the Valkyries, Warriors, Dracanias, they are gone. none of those classes are played in EU. And for
Oh,
damage dealers, yes, sir.
there's Ace in EU
Yeah,
still
it's
running
played.
one or
Yeah,
two
it's
Valks
Oh,
and
is he?
pretty well. Yeah,
Yeah,
they use
Ace has a
played.
Valk. Oh, yeah, right. They're sitting next to their Megu so that you cannot do anything to her.
it's
Something
so
like that.
obnoxious, man. Like it's right now in the current state of the class, outside of PA and heals, which are not great in the current meta.
Yeah.
The class is just a discount Awakening Mystic, because your job is just to hold the front line and vacuum.
Yeah.
But it's still obnoxious. Like it's still extremely obnoxious.
Mm.
But yeah, the problem is mostly with Mystic having the pushback on herself PA, which makes no sense. You can split up and regroup just by standing in the middle of them, and you can't really be punished. The vacuum, that is, it just does what it does. Insane amount of CCs, even multi-hit CC on a spiral torpedo. It's, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's
Like-
it just feels like you cannot do anything to it, honestly.
So I want to mention something. People misunderstand when you say that a class is broken or something. They think that we're trying to nerf that class to the ground. No, the main idea of these kind of things that before they realize that the class broken by themselves, or some kind of populists, feedbacks, or thousands of the messages to the PA. For example, every day in my streams I said, Rokon Awakening, my own class is broken. She was broken. Every day, every week, I said, nerf it, nerf it. We gave feedback, nerf it please. I beg. Like for 5 months, she dominated the game. AOS, open world, large scale or something. And then, it's classic PA. The lots of voices increased. Crowds started to cry about Drukania a lot. And then, they bear this Drukania alive to the ground. Now, class is unplayable right now. So there should be no other class in the game treated like that. So our main goal is just like Awakening Sage need PvP nerfs. So let's listen Awakening Sage players. How should the class needs nerf? Awakening Striker needs nerf because of that, blah 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 blah. A Berserker like that or something like that. So our goal is to just point out that class is broken because of that and let's nerf it. So especially in the YouTube comment section, stop pretending like that we are trying to just kill your class. We are trying to save your class, actually. Hopefully people understand this, but so yeah.
I really want to hear Loony's opinion because, yeah, surely we've talked about PvP, but how have you felt about the balancing regarding PvE? Because your class, I mean, maybe you were playing Succession Witch, but Awakening Witch is now, I don't know, bananas.
It's pretty good, yeah.
And that's it. And he's just having fun with his witch. And
You know
that's
what?
it.
I'm 100% sure that he is hitting mobs right now. He is doing PvE.
Yeah, I'm hands down.
I'm not. That's...
Yeah, like,
Nah, but
yeah.
do you think that the takes on your class and in every aspect or aspect of the PvE, spectrum has been accurate, or how do you feel about it?
I mean, I do want the Succession to be better if played properly, but here we are, so...
Yeah.
They also apparently broke Awakening's iframe in PvE, and now it has a gap or something.
Is it?
That's also fun.
You have
Yeah.
a PvE iframe
Well,
gap?
Unless there is a new mechanic, they added dispatch on picking that takes you out of your spammable PvE iframe, then they did break it.
Yeah.
Fortunately. Or fortunately, I guess, if you're not a witch main.
So overall, like the classes in the game for PvP, Awakening Sage, Awakening Striker, Awakening Mayagu, like Awakening Mystic, the utility wise, it's too much utility in one kit. And also, like, you would expect that Awakening Valkyrie is designed mostly for large scale, isn't it? The kit is showing like it should serve a good utility in large scale, but right now, I barely see Awakening Valkyries. We had good Valkyries, and I'm an old Valkyrie main. Like, I felt disappointed when I play Valkyrie, especially in large scale. I don't know, like, heal is not that much good, like the old times. Like, Vacuum, like, okay, maybe, but not like Mystic's Vacuum. If you just check the Mystic's Vacuum, that's so toxic. And when I saw that, like a few months ago, when I saw that cooldown changes from 17 to 12, I said, PA, don't do this. Just don't do this. And they added KD at the end of it. Okay. Now, that skill, one skill, is the biggest reason that they just put the class from bottom part in the middle of the meta for the large scale. Just one skill. So just one change in any class can make your class meta or very strong or something. So I want to ask you to Sage players, what would you do? Let's say that we all know that Sage needs nerf. We have 3 Sage players right now.
Yeah.
What would you do to nerf Awakening Sage? He will be strong in good hands at the end of the nerfs, but he will not be broken.
Rokon start off. I think you should talk about the PvP the most.
For me, return the stamina, because before stamina changed, good Sage player should know how much stamina, and this was the most difficult part of the class. Right now, it's not, and everyone who is playing Sage, like, they don't need to care about stamina at all. So return the stamina, probably not so much what it was before, like, but at least you need to look at it sometimes. You should not be able to dash every time and in iframes. Probably nerf a damage a little bit, but I don't think if we have the stamina which was before was changed, I think it will be enough. Because like if you 1v1 with Sage, you can like would move all time, so Sage will be without stamina, and you can try to grab him or kill.
Okay.
This will be enough.
Right.
A little bit PvP damage nerf and the stamina nerf, you said, overall.
Yes, for me, I think, for me it would be nice.
Okay. Arkyve?
You go Arkyve, yeah.
So they did 2 rounds of buffs to Sage. One was PvP centered, mostly on movement skills and protections. And the other was mostly PvP, but it also lowered the cooldowns, as we know, which affects PvP. The thing they did, so in the first round, we got stamina buffs, and I think those were needed. Not as much as we got them. I think maybe a slight turn back could rebalance it around, but I don't think that's what I would focus on. Because of course, if you introduce a lot of nerfs at the same time, you end up having something like Dracania treatment. The thing that they did in the second patch was cooldown reductions, which affected PvP, but cooldown reductions were definitely needed in PvE because we had a really rough time with consistent DPS in PvE and having certain skill up on all up packs. What they did in the 2 rounds that was completely unnecessary, and I still do not understand why they did it. In the first round, they increased the damage of all the PvP damage of all our movement skills. So Spear Bolt, Aftershock, Divine Execution, or Judgment. And now those skills actually deal enough damage to be a threat and like chip people down, finish them off if they're on low HP. And with the class now has enough stamina to be enabled to play aggressively and deal damage, which is what we were struggling with before. So we are already able to dish out more damage than before because we can stay in the fight, we can keep repositioning, we can keep sending in damage skills. We really don't need that extra PvP damage on the movement skills. We really don't need to just be holding WF in an enemy group and getting kills. We don't need that. I don't know why PA thought we would have appreciated it or we would have needed it. And I think, especially with newer players who just tend to hold WF into enemies and get kills, you will have Sages deal a large chunk of their overall damage with that. But that's not fine. You can't have a class deal significant damage while also moving around and being borderline uncatchable unless vacuum desync and shit.
And if you get any damage, even get the sustain off. Don't forget about that part, because the sustain on forward F is massive. I agree with both of you. Stamina has to be the determination. Before it was the fact that made the Sage actually a skillful Sage. How you manage your stamina, knowing when to go in, when to do these skills, when to chill out, recover your stamina, and then come back at the fight. Right now, us being that free to do as much as we do is a little bit too much, no matter the hands the class is on. So it has to be either keep the stamina as it is and reduce the damage on the movement skills, or cheap the damage down and keep the... Hold up. Do lower the damage and keep the stamina, or put the stamina consumption up, keep the damage as it is. I think it has to be one of the two, or maybe a slight combination of the both. That's what Sage problem is,
Definitely.
right?
So
As far as stamina goes, we definitely don't need it to be toned back to what it was before, because that was tremendous. But it's either of the two, and if it has to be stamina, we do need a little bit of toning down.
Because if you compare us to, for example, a Musa, like sure, the class can move, and then in 1 second, he gets in your back and you're one-shotted. And Sage, I feel like, doesn't have that much like potential in comparison to the damage output. Like the damage is there, but it's because of it's in the movement in itself. But if I get into your back and I do that damage, it shouldn't be on the movement. That's the issue, the chronic issue right now.
yeah. So overall, mostly you guys have pointed out that's stamina and the PvP damage, and also the PvP damage, especially in the movement skills. You guys are just saying that I'm just randomly moving or engaging or disengaging. I'm just mistakenly killing people or taking kill or doing insane amount of damage. It's because
100%.
you're not expecting a movement skill deals big damage. And like if you check all the movement skills in the game, they deal maybe 5% maximum damage, and in best scenario in the PvP. But you said that it's dealing lots of damage.
Like imagine if Musa, with every single time that he's pressing R&B, he's doing massive damage while sustaining the damage and being in iframe. That's forward F just 2-3 times. But yeah, that's
Newer players will tend to do that. We'll just hold WF into Shift T into an enemy group and still function at 80% of what an experienced Sage would do right now.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Yeah, I've had some clips from the latest Siege on Mina, but I cannot find them right now. Like, isn't Rokon? It was pretty hard for me to catch a Sage. Like, with that mobility, normally I should just make some kind of... I should be the one who just put pressure on the Sage. It's because Sage, yes, your movements, but if I just put pressure, you would have some kind of at least stamina issue. It used to be like that. If you can put pressure on Awakening Sage, it will be like an instant, like in 5-6 seconds. A stamina issue will start and we'll have a problem about stamina. It will be limited or something. But now, when I just watch your videos, when you like Good League or something, we watched it many times. You guys are just like dancing in air, ground, going up. You're playing it in everywhere in the entire map, in Good League, for example. But stamina is always around 50%. What the heck is that? Like, also you're damaging. Also, like, you're so much protected damage. You don't need CC, people, because of the damage. Literally, you don't need CC. In theory, it's good, like killing people slowly while they're standing, but it's not slow. Because as you said, you deal lots of damage while moving. Engaging, you're just making their HP 70-60%, and then you just do this thing. You're just saying hallelujah, like Sage is just, you're doing this thing.
Let me imprison, yeah.
Yeah, like it's just killing the entire platoon with one skill. We just witnessed that thing many times. Like my Sage main friends in server Mina, they're not okay with the current situation of the class. Normally you would expect that, hey, my class is amazing right now. I'm just killing lots of people. They are afraid of the situation because they are experienced players, and if PA decide to nerf the class by themselves, they know that they will bear class to the ground alive, and they don't want to see it. It happened many times to the many different classes in the game. The latest one was Rokon, and they are afraid that Awakened Sage will be the same.
I am very scared of the upcoming patches, honestly, because I know that most likely we're not gonna stay the way we are right now. Because don't get me wrong, like, I could live forever on this PvE state. Like, for me, it's been like, I've been so grateful with the changes on PvE because I can now actually pull the same numbers as Loony he's doing. And yeah, that just gives me more motivation to keep doing PvE. But I don't know how they're gonna drop our nerf and how heavily are gonna hit. Like, every single Friday I wake up 2 hours before the alarm clock is, because I'm just so nervous how badly we are gonna get nerfed, actually. So yeah, cannot wait to see it.
Yeah. So, and the good part is because of the mobility and your stamina, you can non-stop move iframe dashes around. Like, it's giving you a good place, a gap that you can go for full terrorist AP build.
Yes.
You can play the class like that.
I want to remark that if you do play full terrorist, kind of like CJ does, or I think also Dassiter.
I also play.
Yeah, Rokon does play full blast.
With a lot of attack and AP artifact. You have to root so often. CJ does, I think.
No, he changed to human AP.
Oh, But yeah, if you play full terrorist, you will have to reposition so much that you will end up running out of stamina in the long run. But it's nowhere as bad as before. That's the thing. You can play aggressive for a long period of time and deal insane damage.
Yeah.
And the damage on the movement skill isn't massive, as you would say. But the fact that it's enough to be a threat, it's not fine to me.
Yeah.
Considering how long we can stay on the move.
I don't know if you agree.
It's sort of
yeah, go
it's
ahead,
sort of
please.
like sword behavior, right? You cannot get touched, so you decide to just don't run any defensive. The second you get touched, you will get blasted, but while you're not being touched, then you do enjoy that situation.
Like, I don't know if you guys agree this one. I hate the mechanic of the game. It's not Sage. Sage also has this mechanic, but not only Sage. I don't want to see a class disappear in front of my eyes. Can be in iframe, but I want to see the body of the character. Like Sage, I can't even see the class where it's moving. It's hard, like you have to check the map, but it is so fast. If I just single like 0.1 second check the map, I die because he will kill me. Succession Wusa has it. There are some other classes also has it. Like you can understand where he is moving actually. So what you think? Maybe that's also overall like to every class is like that. Sakvusa is also chronic. Like you guys are PvP players, you know that what I'm talking. I don't want to see that thing in the game. Would you like to see some kind of changes overall in a game like that?
You would
the
in
invincible
fact like
situation.
to see it, right?
Invisible, sorry.
Because
I want to say something in that regard as class being hard to track or catch. It naturally is, because like the class is built to be slippery, and it might need to be a little bit more visible than it is right now when starting or ending a dash animation, just for a couple extra frames. But overall, I would want to say that most people have issues tracking Sage because the class hasn't been popular for like 2 years and a half.
This release, really.
Like after release and after the initial nerfs, the class was barely played for like 2.5 years. So most people don't know how the class functions, how the movement skills work. But the few people that do, especially when it's a Sage into Sage matchup,
Yeah.
they know how the class works and they have no issue tracking each other most of the time because they know how telegraphed, in which way the skills are telegraphed. But yeah, a little bit more visibility wouldn't hurt, because right now it's really hard to track with the long range of the movement. But overall, I think given enough time and people playing against Awakening Sages, they will learn how to track the class better. It's like it was against Drakenia. For a long while, nobody had any idea how to counter Drakenia, because it would just pop out of your screen from out of render distance, even with the unprotected engages. But then towards the end of the meta, it wasn't nearly as bad, because people knew how to play around it.
As an example, I can. So I did a few 1v1 with Tassador, and me and him, we grabbed each other in Shift E and WQ. It's iframe in one small gap of SA, and we grabbed each other in SA just because we know timings. And if, for example, if he's doing Shift E, I know when I should grab him. And like with USA, I probably know when she should be to deal damage. So when he disappeared from my screen, I'm looking for, if, for example, if I will visit Wusa, when I should be to deal with damage to enemies.
Yeah.
And like such scene, you should understand where Wusa Sage should be to cast their skills.
Yeah, exactly. At least at the end of the movements, we should be able to see them, because you see them like you're just seeing them when they cast a skill. Iframe and bomb, for example, it just starts to use the skill, or iframe and bomb CC'd. So instead of that, like more visible, like better visibility on the mobility skills especially would be good from my perspective. While I'm fighting against Sage, I would understand before he casts a skill, I should be able to see him. That would be nice.
Yeah. I think the comparison of Sage and Drakania is actually, sometimes you mention it on the stream, and I have to say that for me it's easy, as you guys have mentioned, like it's easy to track other Sages because you know what they're doing. The problem there is, as Arkyve said, that the class has not been popular for so long that people actually are having difficulties. And I think it's the other way around on Drakania. Whenever Drakania came up, there was all these players like Quisage, Tamatsu, or Kid. They would do things in that class that physically you could not react because of the kit. Inherently, you couldn't react. Like on Sage, I would argue it's possible to do so, not only because of the map, but if you know what the class is doing, it's more telegraphed. On Dracania, and sort of the same thing on Awakening Nova, like they just come at you out of render distance and boom, you're dead in 1 second. On release, I'm gonna say. So
Yeah.
I think it's the two opposite sides of the coin, right? On Dracania, I feel like people got at the time so used to what she was doing because you would see her everywhere. But on Sage, it hasn't been the case because Sage has never really been popular at all. You haven't seen people play Sage as much as Dracania when she got released. So people,
Sage release,
yeah,
of course. But that
of
was
course.
4 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be the fair comparison.
So overall, you guys saying a little bit stamina, a little bit damage nerf would be nice.
On the movement skills, I'd say.
Yeah. So what about, like, what if they just keep everything same but will not allow you to cancel your abilities, the long super armor class skills?
What class is that?
Class
Yeah,
damage, isn't
it's-
it?
With the class being as squishy as it is,
Yeah.
even right now, the main counter to Awakening Sage in the current meta is just splash damage. If you're against a comp that has high splash damage with classes like Awakening Dosa, Deadeye, you will die standing from things that are not even on your screen. If you delete some animation cancels, that's gonna get much worse, and to the point where it's not fun for the player. It doesn't feel engaging. It doesn't feel rewarding to know where to reposition, because things that are not even on your screen are just gonna kill you before you can react.
Okay. So I would love to see them actually. So another problem of the game, there is no striker player right now, but we talked about yesterday, again, Mag's video on the screen right now. Like people, like this is another chronic issue of the class balance in the game, even PvP. It's been long time that this class non-stop getting buff. We are not talking about PV, by the way. This is PvP. And this class kit is full of toxicity. Look, as you can see on the screen right now, that it just passed. He's dancing in the middle of the people. In this screen, you see on the screen right now, he has 1240 evasion, not that much big to become that much tanky, and 620 DR. That's what you see on the screen. And he's dancing in the plateau. And he is fighting against insecure guild. The all players he fight against, they're hard cap players, or close to hard cap. They're not gearled. So what I'm trying to say, he died here is because of for example, on the screen right now, he died, it's because of the Misty Haze. Misty Haze is broken. It breaks every class in the game. We are not trying to, point out that this class is broken, nerf it or something. Yes, this class is broken and nerf it reasonable, with a logical way. Because we know that if PA decide to nerf it by themselves, if everyone starts to play Striker, then they will kill the class. So let's not see that. From my perspective, the entire kit is just like E-buff. Let's talk about the E-buff. 50 DR, 30 resists, 30 attack speed. That's all okay, but running in super armor, that's not okay from my perspective. There is no explanation for that. 25% damage reduction, it's giving insane amount of tankiness because class can stay only in super armor if he wants. Or iframes. Like it's almost using iframes like a Sork level of iframes. There are lots of good iframes, utility iframes in the class. Class has good damage overall. You guys can watch this video, Max video. He's being number 1 or number 2 on damage at the Guild League. You can be casual striker player or any class that we will talk about in this podcast or next podcast. But these are the potential of the class and they are extremely dangerous. And class has 7 protected CC or something like that. You have 2 grabs, you have independent damage because your clones is dealing damage. You have acceptable sustain.
You have striker ult.
Yeah, there are lots of things in the utility. So instead of PA decide to nerf and destroy classes, we should maybe point out that these classes broken, maybe nerf a little bit to tune it down, because Striker nobody can stop Striker for the current situation. Nobody can stop Sage. Kashashin is the same. Awakening Mayago is the same. We are not trying to kill these classes, but if PA decide, they will kill them. So decision is belong to community. What do you think, guys, about Striker? You guys fight against Striker in good leagues.
Yeah, Rokon, your turn. I think you were gonna say something.
I would say so. Without S-Path, because he's really another striker level, all strikers running some DP meme builds where you can can kill him with 10 people hitting, and
Mhm.
they're sitting on your shy, you can't rebuff, and so on. About XIGMATEK, he probably only one striker on you who runs a build, and he deals a huge amount of damage.
And also not dying, that's the problem.
Yeah, but it's probably because he knows class very well, to know when he should iframe damage and so on.
No. It's not about, like, we watch, I don't know if you watched this one, we watched it
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, I'm watching. Yeah.
He's just
I
staying.
fight.
He's
I know. So it's because
you fight against this guy, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Can I mention something in this regard?
Okay.
The reason why he's
Let's do
surviving
this.
against Insecure
Sorry.
is that Insecure is always high tankiness comp. They don't have a lot of damage, but you really can't kill them.
No. Like,
So that's why he's surviving without a full carpet build.
the thing is, his defensive stats. When I don't know which minutes is that. We just encountered with that many times. Like, there are 3 DPS dealers, they're damage dealers, and remain part of his tank and utility. Okay, like, entire secure guild is trying to kill him. His stats is not that much big. Like, that's why I'm trying to point out this class is broken about defensive way, especially 1.2k evasion and 600 DR. Even in, like, if 10 people hits you, hybrid builds, they can easily melt it. Any class in the game, you can melt it in a second. These are not big DP stats. That's what I'm trying to say. 600 DR is just like, because 620 DR and people shy DP shred 35, 20 from skill from the other skills because they stack, and 20 add-on. 75 DR completely gone. And what you gonna, like, while it's in the ground, look at this one on the screen. Like the entire guild needs to hit the guy, but one man needs to be able to kill it. Like, we watched, you need Misty Haze to kill this build. What if that class, like, needs full tank build or something? Without Misty Haze, we cannot kill it. Like, if he decide to go AP, like, let me kill it. You can't kill it.
Probably Insecure in this match is not running a lot of accuracy because in my example we have Musa who runs 5 accuracy crystals and he can melt striker like in 2-3 skills. But for example, for Insecure comps, they probably running for damage dealers with full AP without accuracy or 1-2 maximum accuracy crystals, and they can't melt even saturation on striker.
But, like, 1.2k evasion is not that much big. I'm trying to explain it. Like, only 1 or 2 crystals enough.
It's not, no, it's not enough. What can I see? It's not enough.
Not enough for striker. That's why.
For striker, yes, for striker. It's not. You need 3-4 to kill striker.
Yeah, because, like, whenever I catch a striker, 3 crystals is not being enough, even like in a hybrid build and fight in 1 versus 1. I understand, but it is not normal. That's not normal. While you're dealing that much damage, like, let me show it in screen. For example, he published the late, last part of the. For example, this is the first match against Insecure. Second damage, and he died 5 times the entire match, and he's in the middle of the hot points in the fight. 700k damage. The other one, for example, number 1, 600k damage. He's just getting it against Insecure. He died 6 times. Yeah, Mag is an amazing player. I'm not talking about that. Like, whenever you do mistake or whenever your opponents catch you in offensive builds or almost offensive build, this is not full offensive build, you should get punished. Instead, you just use, like, even if you use Tendon in this build, at this stats, you should dead because Tendon giving you 125 DR or something. So your DR from 550 after debuffs will reach to 650. 10 people hitting you or 3-4 offensive stats people hitting you. He's fighting against Novas. Nova is not bad. Nova has good DPS, good damage. Look on the screen right now, people trying to kill it. 4 people hitting him, just 50% HP, he's just gone. Yeah, this is not normal.
Quisage is not playing a high damage build in your league. Currently, Insecure runs with a very tanky comp and usually only 2 or 3 players with high damage.
2 players needs to be enough to kill this guy. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, for this kind of topic, there has to be 2 separated kind of aspects of this. One being the current meta on how you build. Like, I feel like the building process, like, if you want to go kind of hybrid, like evasion gear gives also too much DR, and if you decide to then run DR, you start building some evasion. So what happens to this is that if you ever, me as an offensive class, I want to be able to kill someone with that much evasion and that much DR, I end up sacrificing so much AP for the accuracy that I'm unable to even touch them on the other aspect. So if I try to find a balance, there's none. I don't have the tools offensively. Me even being a sage, I don't have any tools to build to actually punish him. And I think that's the chronic issue for right now, current meta. And there's the other aspect where we have to consider that I'm gonna include Mystic in this topic because Mystic is also feeling not probably as tanky, but super tanky. And it's because of the inherent nature of their kits. They're full on SA. Their damage reduction while being in SA is super high. And you kind of don't feel like there's no way you can actually punish those kits. Because if the second you have a minimum intention to actually punch those guys, you feel like you're wasting your time already. So how can they make, like, how can you join these two aspects and actually make a possibility to actually punish this? And I feel like I was talking with CJ the other day on Sage Discord, and I feel like there has to be a way so that someone that feels this tanky to allow them and be tanky and do whatever they want. But first, them not being able to do damage, which is also an issue, because these people running full hybrid can combo me, and that shouldn't happen. And secondly, if they are punished, like I managed to grab them, let me kill them. Like, let them be punishable on me playing good the game, on me doing good with my class. And I think everyone should be able to do this. I don't know, what do you guys think about it?
I don't know, like the only thing I want to say that if you put this gear to the other classes, they melt instantly.
I know for sure.
Yeah, that's mainly a problem with something they did with the DR and evasion changes.
Yeah.
Which the intention was good in this, but the consequences are not looking good, which was damage reduction on SA. Like, I get that they want brawler classes and classes that are supposed to be deep into the fight at all times to be tanky. At the same time, they gave us too many tools to achieve that. Because right now we have classes like Striker or Mystic, or I think even Zerker, having 25% damage reduction on SA. I think it's also Zerker, but I might be wrong. It might be 20 or 15. At the same time, we have all the defensive Charismatic crystals. And we're in a situation where on those classes, unless you want to play a semi-tanky build like XIGMATEK is doing here against Insecure, because he can, you can just stop caring about your offensive stats. You don't really need to deal damage. You can just be borderline immortal and just keep getting a lot of value out of being a disruption in the enemy group and keep landing blanket CCs. And Mystic can do that, Striker can do that, Zerker can do that, some other classes can do it in some capacity. But with damage reduction on SA and those Charismatic crystals, those classes have been enabled to unbelievable levels to achieve that. And that's why in EU we have a ridiculous carpet meta. Literally all the top Guild League teams are running 6 to 7 carpets, then 3 to 4 high damage classes, sometimes even as low as 2, and it's obnoxious.
Yeah. Maybe they can fix these classes without touching them. They can separate the DR and evasion classes, the crystals, and the stat givers. I don't know what they have. They can, for example, if a class is like full evasion based, like Striker, Mystic, or something, the tankiness that they gain from tank like stats, it should come from pure evasion, not only DR. This is the chronic issue of the game. If you're playing in an evasion class, you can benefit of DR. If you're playing DR class, you cannot benefit of evasion because it's too low to become beneficial. Maybe they can fix it like that. They can give more DR to the DR classes. They can give more evasion to the evasion classes. So to counter evasion, you can only need to go accuracy, because right now to counter like 1.3, 1.4k accuracy, evasion build Striker, you need to go for like at least 1.1k 1150 accuracy, depends the class, but overall like that. Full combo. But at the end of the day, you will sacrifice lots of AP, but the class is just giga tanky because of the additional DR that he gained from the crystals and some other things, add-ons, lots of shits. Maybe self-buff, I don't know. Maybe they can fix it indirectly, these type of classes. For example, this tankiness comes from evasion and DR both together, and also suprarmor reduction from the, all the suprarmor stances. They can fix it like that. Remove the DR from the evasion crystals or separate them. Give evasion with evasion crystal more evasion, so their tankiness comes from the evasion instead of both of the stats. As a DR player,
I mean, evasion.
I don't know. Yeah, please.
Sorry, evasion crystals don't have DR at all. They're just pure evasion. The problem is, like, it's not even hybrid builds. Hybrid builds at the hard cap gear level are completely broken, I agree. But that's not even the main problem right now, because at least in EU, I don't know about other regions, the meta even in Guild League and Node War is running in with full DR carpet berserkers, and they run with like 1000, 1050 DR, and they can just pretty much do the same thing Striker does. Dive into the enemy route, don't let them rebuff, don't let them do anything. And they are unkillable unless they get mistied. So the problem is more like you have the SA reduction, damage reduction on SA that makes them completely immortal if they're standing. Even if they go on the ground, they are really, really hard to kill unless Misty Haze, which is another delicate argument.
Topic, yeah.
It's in general, they gave too many tools for tankiness to classes that don't need anything except tankiness to get value. So it's gonna be hard to rebalance because they would have to tone down or straight up remove some of those tools. But then again, they might end up overdoing the nerfs. So that's gonna need some long consideration from PA to achieve a level of balance, because it also depends on the meta of a region. For example, if I take NA into consideration, they are more heavy on AP blast builds, and if you run with a carpet DR berserkers, you are probably going to have a worse time than you would on EU. It's a rough issue in terms of balance, and it definitely needs to be addressed. But I don't think there is any one right way to do it right now. It would need a lot of tweaking under all aspects from people.
What they could do, though, I mean, okay, let's say they decide to not nerf anything that they've done, because in fact, the classes that we're talking about are getting buffed next week's.
Yep.
Let's not forget that maybe they actually become better. So rather than actually them nerfing them in somehow or damage reduction or whatever, this is something like a prediction. Imagine they gave us more tools offensive-wise to actually deal with this meta. So what if, for example, in the upcoming region that they just teased us not that long ago, they include the sovereign sub-weapon, and they've removed the evasion sub-weapons, or and the gear-wise provides us more offensive tools, then maybe we could talk about something. But it's just a prediction, right? If they don't give us any other tool to deal with the current situation, offensive-wise, to punish this playstyle, I think then the only solution would be nerfing, but maybe they could try it in this other way.
I don't think they're going to remove evasion offense or Blackstar-like offense.
No,
even if we get a sovereign version, and even if we do, we're going to have the problem with the reform stones on sovereign. Even on main hand and awakening weapon, we have the DR HP evasion reforms, which of course increased tankiness. And if it's the same on sovereign offhand, it's going to make the problem worse. I think what they kind of partially did, I was telling you about this a few days ago, but I think what they partially did to counteract the carpet meta is to buff to a meta level the classes that can actually deal damage to them, like Awakening Sage, Assassin.
Awakening Magu, Hash.
And yeah, like that's kind of a MOBA approach. You nerf something by buffing its counter. But at the same time, if you take this approach, there's going to be inevitably some classes that are going to be left in the dust, and they're not going to be keeping up with either of the two sides of the coin. So yeah, that's also another route of balancing that makes things hard. But there is definitely some middle ground between nerfing some meta classes and buffing their counters where other classes don't get left behind as much, and I think PA should consider it.
Yeah, like our main goal is, like I said in the beginning of this part, we will talk. I said it. We will talk about PvP. We're not trying to just kill the classes. We are trying to show the classes is broken because of that. Let's just nerf them in that way properly. Like, because we saw that if PA decide to nerf a class after a long time, they destroy class. I don't want to see any Striker players mad, or Berserker players mad, or Sage players mad, or Hush players mad, Mygo players mad. Like, we are a game that old. It's hard to get an E player. Yes, we have E players in the game, but it is getting harder and harder every day. So let's not lose the already players we have. Let's not lose them. So nerf classes properly. Already broken classes. We talked about Awakening Sage. We talked about Striker. Succession Assassin is another level. Like Awakening Mayagu. All other classes. Nerf them properly. If you don't know, like as a developer, if you don't know how to nerf them properly, consult us. Consult to the actual class masters. Talk with DBOS. Talk with Mag. Talk with other strikers about the Striker. How we can tune it down. Maybe like I said, you don't need to touch Striker. Maybe you need to change the game stats. Like I said, like we have a bitterness crystal. We have these crystals giving you both DR and evasion. Separate them. If the guy wants the benefit of tankiness that comes from the evasion, he should go for evasion. He has good evasion passives, 24% or something. So that guy's, like the striker's tankiness can come from evasion. I can counter it with accuracy. But if I just want to counter that evasion with the accuracy, the AP that I sacrificed is being my bottleneck. I cannot kill it. It's because the guy has like 650, 40, 50 DR with low AP. So maybe like make it a separate would be better instead of directly nerfing the class.
I agree. I think the approach could either be on the itemization or on the kit wise. And I would much rather see it being a gear thing rather than class thing. Because on gear thing, I mean, they have had some hot takes on what they think it's good gear wise. But I think it's more risky than balancing a class than balancing throughout gear.
Yeah. What they did like a year ago, when we saw that Karazats, people were crying about that the entire utility of the game will die, or the debo times. There is only way, debo. Like the Karazat is giving them flexibility, a lot of flexibility. Give them like each crystals can give them 100 evasion, totally fine. But also that, if it is giving that much evasion, maybe minus 15 DR in it. Just an example. I'm trying to give an idea. Like make the bitterness crystal separate. Bitterness evasion, make it 25 evasion kit, like 5, but also will reduce DR 5, for example. So the tankiness will come from evasion. It's simple. But at the end of the day, the current physical gear in the game, the current physical gear is simplified. Sovereign, Razat, and probably we will see the same level of like Sovereign subweapon. We don't know how it will be. But we will also see the purple gear armors. We all know that. They will add it at the end of maybe this year or something. We're expecting it. Purple armors. So let us like utilize our gear, our setup, specific builds. Depends the situation with the crystals, light stones, artifacts, with the reforged stones, and some other things. Also make them more versatile. Like evasion players shouldn't benefit from DR if they design to be evasion. If he wants to go DR, he should choose the way of DR. But benefiting both of the defensive stats, creating that striker issue right now in the game.
Yeah, totally agree.
For example, like we have Mystic, isn't it, in the game? If you put that build into the Mystic can die easily, or cannot deal that much damage.
Well,
maybe,
well,
but they can,
it
but
depends,
cannot deal that much damage. Even if you cannot kill it, you cannot deal that much. Yeah. So to kill the Mystic, you grab. Even if you cannot kill it, you just say that, okay, who cares? It's 800 AP Mystic will do nothing to us without comboing or something. If the Mystic is trying to combo me, like most part of the combo damage is just comes front guard or unprotected skills, he cannot do that. But in Striker, for example, combo is fully protected. There is only way to catch it to grab. Or there should be other way to kill it in that build. Kill it without CC. You can do both. Same. So, for example, like, I don't know. DJ saying DR is the biggest problem in the game. What you guys think?
Again, I think I agree with you. If you decide to go evasion, I can slot enough accuracy to kill you. If you decide to go DR, I don't think there's enough AP in the game to actually like counter all the EDR that is in the game. That's my thoughts. But then again, you showed me the clip of this Mina Sage killing a 1K.60 DR Berserker. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just
It's broken
rambling.
Sage. It's because of broken Sage. There other classes
Maybe
cannot
it's
kill
just
1
Sage, man.
KDR.
Maybe it's just Sage. Like put the clip on over there so that everyone can see
I'll try
what
to
I'm
find it.
talking
Hold on.
about. I don't know.
Where is
Also,
it?
I think that giving us more possibilities gear-wise is always going to be better than trying to accomplish balance on classes. And the 25% damage mitigation while being on SA could very well be toned down to, let's say, 15 or 20. I don't think it would hurt anyone.
Like 10, 10, 15.
I mean, right now I'm on 10, and I feel like toilet paper if I'm getting hit.
Same.
So I would agree to an Awakening Valkyrie. All these classes that are supposed to stand in front of you and tank to feel tanky. I don't have anything up against it, but it just feels too much to me. That
how much is
the
Valkyrie's?
capacity? Huh? Yeah, sorry.
How much is Valkyrie's? Damage reduction. 20? 15?
It's 15. No.
Let me go grab it. I have the pad somewhere.
Succession Valkyrie was 20.
Yeah, it's
they
a little bit more.
separated it.
Yeah.
And Awakening Valkyrie, because they were so scared of her, it's actually 15, I think.
Yeah.
But I might be wrong. Like I would need to double check. But it happens the same to Succession Dracania. Succession Dracania has way less damage reduction than all the Gauntlers counterpart.
Yeah. So if, for example, in theory, Succession Dracania is, melee fighter, go in, fight in the hardest point in the fight, isn't it? But if you go there with a Suck Drac, if you want to deal damage, you have to go carpet. Maybe you can cast 1 or 2 skills. But with this level of AP that Striker has, 850 his AP if I'm not wrong. We checked his gear. With 850 AP build, you cannot do the same thing like Striker did. When you try to cast skill, you instantly die. Because I'm playing around the same level of the gear. My DR is around 660, 670. If everyone is just turns at me, I die instantly. Like no matter like what type of like sustain I have or something. That's the same thing that we're talking. 2 stats, they're benefiting of 2 stats, and 2 stats is giving them extreme flexibility about the tankiness or tank the damage.
Yeah.
I found the patch, by the way, and Valkyrie is 50% damage reduction on SA.
50
and
or 50?
Yeah, 15. 15. Relax.
I was like 50, like, oh my god, I'm missing on something. We're
And
all
40
sleeping on Awakening Valkyrie.
And also 40% damage reduction on forward guard.
Yeah,
true.
It's their design, I think. Like Q block class having additional DR.
Yeah, but
from
then again, I think the meta back then was different because everyone was playing Suck Corsair, and there was this whole idea of the guard gotch going out with Valkyries. I think the composition, especially in Node Wars, were more leaning towards Succession Corsairs and Valkyries and all that. And now it just, because of that sort of interaction and with the addition in Karasats and the meta, we just developed into what we have now. Gauntlers and Circers. So it just kind of became a little bit more irrelevant.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that if you find a good Valkyrie, it's not gonna be completely obnoxious to fight against. But yeah, it's not frequent at all. Every Valkyrie player that I know, except one, which probably will come for next week's podcast, everyone has just rolled from the class.
Yeah, we can. I can announce right now. We're looking for class masters, not only like PvP oriented, like every type of oriented. Like you guys can reach the Hygaa. And like if we know you, of course, that you can join the podcast. This is community's podcast. This is Black Spirit Radio. This is not only for few people talk or something. The guest will be not fixed. Maybe me and Hygaa will be fixed, but the remain part of the content or the all the guests will be changed. Maybe there will be 10 people next week. I don't know. But overall, we will try to point the chronic issues of the game. Not only like we try to point the Striker is broken. We're trying to understand why Striker broken and how we can fix it. Sage is broken. Why broken? How we can fix it. Kunoichi, for example, Dracania or something. Why bad? How we can fix it. We are trying to help. You can try to help maybe at the end of the day, PA will start to listen to this podcast. GMs and CMs right now watching they're in the chat. Zarka is in the chat. Gahaz was listening it a few minutes ago. He left probably. They're watching it. Maybe they are taking some kind of, because they're typing down some things. Oh, this is good. Let's type it down. Let's report this one. Who knows? Maybe they will do that.
I think overall the goal for this is not only to gather all these brainiacs and impressive players like gods in the game itself, like Loony, who's just the PvE god. Everyone just knows him because of that, right? It's also like trying to give this closer look for A to actually get to know how the potential of the game is driven, because for sure they don't seem to have the most accurate contact with what they doing, and they have just given us on this dev commentary, like they have proven us right. They know we can do better than them, but I think they are scared to actually, maybe they don't have the contacts, they haven't worked on actually getting close into these experienced opinions. And I'm not calling myself experienced, I'm calling experience the people that I'm gonna try to bring to the podcast. So yeah, that's what we're gonna try to do.
Yeah. So you guys have anything to say?
I think Loony has fallen asleep already.
Loony is grinding. He just grinded 10 billion in this podcast.
I mean, surely. What was his stress loot last hour he published on your Discord? 24k on RCKia? The man is goating.
55k with 3 tides Awakening Witch video. Probably he just recorded it because he said nothing.
55? Wait, wasn't it 54? The last one he did?
He just improved.
Holy, yeah. The man is like, we were talking about, I was laughing when we were talking about balancing classes and thinking, yeah, grab Loony for balancing Witch, and I'm just imagining the devs seeing every time he's posting more and more and more, and how can they handle him, Like the same with Lua or all these people. It would be a nightmare. Yeah. So I understand them on that regard.
Now I'm checking the comments, the latest reaction video on YouTube. It's been only 2 hours. The summary of the comments, I can say that, is just, hey, quality of life and all other things and the dev commentary, they are amazing, but the class balance, why they are that much bad? Why everyone thinks same? Like, it's sometimes I'm asking for myself, like, maybe I'm just overreacting, but the entire community say the same thing. Why? I don't know, dude. Maybe there's something, a good point that the community is trying to explain something to our developers. But we'll see in future if we will be actually good.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully. I think we're all here for the same reason, and it's our love and passion for this game. And yeah, with no intentions to do any harm to anyone or to like be negative, we actually want to have the best game possible. I think that's the goal for everyone here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You guys have anything to say? Loony is sleeping. Rokon, Arkyve?
No, I think I got enough out of my system.
No. So if you want to take some things out of your system, this is the right address. Like, if you think that you're a class master, you can reach the Hygaa, and yeah, I will also I will also give the links of their YouTube and Twitch or something. If they stream or if they publish video on YouTube, you can find and learn of their classes. That would be also a good way to, promote their channels. Yeah, thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thank you guys.
No problem. It was a pleasure.
So we should just say goodbye for this week. Next week we will try our best, and I'll try my best to change the entire UI and all setups. I'll try my best to make them better. This was the first episode of the Black Spirit Radio, your official podcast of Black Desert Online. Yeah, you know what we say? Do not forget, video is just a game. Have a nice game.